Karen. I'm the artist extraordinaire behind this channel, and I'm so excited that you're here today. Today, I'm going to teach you guys how to draw this beautiful anemone flower. And don't worry, it's a lot easier than it looks. I'm going to break it down first with the center and then with the petals. So let's get started. Today's supplies are this mechanical pencil, the Pentel Fude brush pen, and an eraser to erase our lines at the very end. We're going to get started by drawing 3 circles, the small one and then a slightly bigger one around it. These two will make up the center of your flower, and then we're going to do a big one that will be the edges of our petals, and this big one should be about the diameter of 3 of those circles that you did for the center. I'm going to go ahead and zoom in so that you guys can see the center a little bit better, and I apologize for the shakiness, I had to manually zoom in. And so we're going to begin with the very center, and this should be pretty uniform of a circle, and we're going to do a technique called stippling, which is just a bunch of little dots. And so we're going to concentrate the dots. There should be a thicker or higher concentration along the edges of the circle, and then less concentration or lighter concentration towards the center of the circle. So it kind of gives the illusion that there's a little bit of a light reflection on this center of the anemone. And so this is a lot of dots. Take your time if you need to and have fun with it. Once you feel like you have added a sufficient amount of dots, we're going to start on the second part of the center, which are the little oval-like filaments along the edge. And so there's really no rhyme or reason to where I put these. You're going to do it along that second line, some on the line, some a little bit under the line, some above the line, putting 2 or 3 together, putting a little bit of separation between them. I kind of go around the circle, so just because I only put one on one side by itself doesn't mean I'm not going to come back to it. But just put as many or as little as you want, and because we are looking at this flower from the top view, they should be pretty uniform in size as well. Make sure to add some that are overlapped with each other, so they are underneath and some are on top, and kind of gives that illusion of depth. And the final piece of the center is we're going to connect all those little oval filaments using pretty straight lines to that center circle that you drew in the beginning. We're now going to get started with the petals. We're going to start with what I like to call the guide petals, and those are the ones whose shape we can see completely and are not overlapped with one another. So we're going to start with this one big one here. I'm going to do a slightly smaller petal right here to kind of add that variety, add that imperfection to this flower, and then one more guide petal here on this side before we start to overlap them. And just remember as you do this petals to make sure to add some small divots and curves. Your petals should be made up of what I like to call S and C shapes. So none of them are actually straight lines, they're just big C's or big S's or stretched out S's. So they all should have some slight curve. Go ahead and finish adding the rest of your petals following the video. They should all be overlapping with each other because we have our first 3 guide petals, and those are the only 3 whose shape we can see all the way. And once we are done with the petals, we can actually get started with the detail lines. And my biggest tips that I like to share in every single video when it comes to details is number 1, add variety in length of lines, meaning don't make them all the same length, because if you do that, it's going to look so static. My second tip is making sure to add slight curves to them as well, because these curves will kind of give the appearance of that petal folding and moving and making it look more alive. And then the third tip that I give is making sure that they're more concentrated towards the center of the flower and then farther apart as you get to the edge of the petals. And so you can add a bunch of little short ones close to the center. That will give that appearance also of that depth of that shadow given to that center of the flower. And take your time as you draw the detail lines. It doesn't have to be rushed. This part can be super relaxing. And whenever you're drawing a flower from reference and you're unsure of where to add the detail lines, just look at the natural veins of the flowers and that will give you a good indication of where they should go. Be careful as you erase your pencil lines in case you chose a pen that smears. So small little circles do the trick, or you can wait a few minutes before erasing just so that you don't smudge your finished creation. And once you're done erasing all of your pencil lines, you will be able to see the beautiful flower that you have created. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I will see you for the next video. Thank you, bye!